Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Gospel of Two Wheels, where the coffee's hot, the bikes are fast, and your comments are absolutely ridiculous. We are here with my good friend Don Funke, and we are here to talk about winter enduro training, which is what we're getting ready to start here January 18th at the Montrose Flex Rec, which is a functional fitness place. And if you don't know what that is, think CrossFit, just not without the trademark name. So, Don is here because he is going to be our coach for that. Let me run through and say good morning here. Steve Becky Peterson, Justin McCauley, Who's the Islander, Dave Brayman, Roger Hurd, 970 Enduro, which I believe is Jared Bayless, right, Jared? And 5280 James are all here right now. Don, give us a rundown on who you are, your background, and what you think about dirt bikes. We'll start there, and then And by the way, guys, feel free to ask questions, chime in. Lots of questions here. And like I said, today we were talking mainly about dirt bike fitness and training for being awesome on a dirt bike.
Yeah. I got into dirt bikes just a couple of years ago. Moved to Montrose. When I was a kid, I loved dirt bikes and played with them a little bit. But my dad was like, no way, you're not getting a dirt bike. That's the last gift a father ever buys for a son.
My dad's watching, and he's the same way. Was the same way. So,
yeah. And so I turned 58 and said, I'm going to buy a dirt bike, doggone it. And so moved to Montrose, got a dirt bike, started riding, and quickly found out that the physical conditioning was a really big part of it. The bike skills are huge, but there's also the component of, like, even when you're riding an easy trail, after about an hour and a half, I started fading pretty bad. And I said, well, that's fitness right there. And so started on that. I've been a chiropractor since 1988. How many years that is, I can't even believe it. But I've been into fitness my whole life, and that's one of the things that got me into chiropractic in the first place. And then when I moved here, I had a bout with a lot of neck pain from a car accident I had, and started going to the rec center and working out there, and made some good progress working through the pain. And then got my personal training certificate, and then they opened the Flex Rec, and I was touring the Flex Rec before it was even open. And John Wagner, who's the fitness director there, was showing me around, and there was this room that said wellness room. And I said, well, what's going in there? He said, we don't know yet. And I said, I got a darn good idea. I'm going to put an office in there. So in last March, we opened up Movement Medicine, and where I do chiropractic and rehab work. And I also teach classes for the rec center there. And we teach a functional fitness class at 6 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Somebody else does it Mondays and Fridays. And was talking to Morgan, and he wanted to get together and talk about a fitness program for his new enduro team. And I said, I'm all in for that. And so we've been talking for a while and working with the management over there, and we finally got something set up.
Yeah. And Jared, quick, it is $80 for the whole thing. So for all 8 classes, it's $80. Yep. And real quick plug on that, guys. I have the flyer right here. I'll hold it up. There you go. Winter enduro. So I'm calling it two-wheeled training, right? So it's mountain bike, anything to do with 2 wheels is what we're going to be focusing on. You can call, and I'm going to post all this stuff up, guys, later. It'll be in the description below and also all over Facebook. But you can call 970-249-7705 and then tell them code FWFLEX Enduro Fit. I'm sure if you just said I'm calling to sign up for the Enduro Fit class, it can sort you out. And it's $80 for the whole thing, which is a crazy smoking deal if you know anything about fitness things. So it is a really, really good price. It's going to be 7:30 on Thursday, so it's kind of nice. It's late enough. It should be after dinner for most of us. If you're coming from Junction, Jared, plenty of time to get there after work. Yeah, so it should be good. Our whole team, the whole Highland Cycles team, will be there. Now, I've got my 2 younger guys on the team are going to be maybe missing one or here because they have other training. They're playing basketball, whatever. So, that it is what it is. But it's going to be really, really good. See, Zach's got a fitness question here. Best thing to do for a joint issue seems like it doesn't want to heal. Obviously, that's probably a bit of a load.
Yeah, that'd depend on what joint it is.
Paint with broad strokes.
Yeah. So, generally, with a joint that won't heal, think of isometric contraction first, meaning that the joint doesn't move, then move on to slow contractions, and then faster contractions, and then slower contractions with weight, and then faster contractions with weight, kind of working with that progression. But I'd be happy to talk to you. Just get a hold of me on the phone, or
what's your email, Don? I'm gonna just type it in here.
It's Dr. Don, DRDON, at movementmedicine.coach.
Like that?
Yep.
Oh, I'm terrible at typing. Sorry, guys. Boom. So there is Don's info. Also, we will get that into the description below. So if you're watching this later, if you're watching live too, by the way, make sure you hit the thumbs up. My mom or my father will come and find you if you don't. I know there's only 23 thumbs up, 56 people watching, so get after it. And again, sorry we are here on Wednesdays. I know this probably threw a lot of people off who are watching this later, going, wait a second, I thought it was Thursdays. If you listen to Don, he just said he teaches a class really early in the morning on Thursdays. So we moved it to Wednesdays. Thank you for coming, because I know. The AC joint.
Yeah.
Zach, so.
Yeah, common dirt bike injury. In fact, I'm dealing with one right now, and stabilizing that and letting it heal for a while, and then working through that progression that I talked about. Last week, I started an Indian clubs workout where you're moving your arms and swinging all around, and just flared up my AC joint, something wicked. So mine is resting this week, and but in a few weeks we'll get back to it.
I've separated both AC joints, and my collarbone broke it. Anyway, lots of problems with shoulders, but I have found personally, and it's really hard for us dirt bikers, that you just gotta rest and like try to take it easy, because that kind of stuff, I mean, you think like, just walk it off, right? It does not. It will just stay inflamed and hurting for a very, very long time if you don't do that. So
true. Most of the things that you read about fitness and endurance training, when you get past 40, it's like we're not overtrained, we're basically under recovered.
Right.
Because if you're not recovered enough, you can't push to that intensity where you keep making progress. Whereas if you get recovered, your heart rate's low, you're rested, then you have that potential to come back to the workout and work really hard the next time, and that's where you make the gains.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know.
And with dirt biking, especially around here where you can ride close to year round, it's like, no, I just want to get out and ride. I want to get out and ride. And so oftentimes we never get a chance to like, okay, I'm just going to rest. And you have to almost enforce it. Fortunately, we got 20-degree weather out there right now, so maybe it's a good time to rest and let things heal and fix our bikes.
Yeah. Justin Monroe, I love it. And absolutely, I'm not going to read everything. Rest for dirt bikes equal depressed, 100%. So, but I would say one of the things, I mean, I've been forced into rest because of my injury. It's actually been kind of nice. Fortunately, I ride an awful lot, so it wasn't a big deal to take a couple months off. I'm now back on the bike, and it's all good. But I find that if you need to rest from like, hammering, going out and just doing figure eights, doing like really slow drills is still resting, right? I mean, you're not like pushing hard and running a risk of injury or anything like that. You can sit there and just do the super slow balance drills, and it's really, really good for you, and will keep you on the bike having fun, and then then you can come back after it and hammer whoops. Let's see, some great low impact for cardio is mountain biking. I agree. Here in Canada, we pedaled right through winter, lifting weights. Yeah, absolutely. And mountain biking, I love mountain biking. I don't do the crazy. I don't ride mountain bikes like I ride dirt bikes. I kind of take it easy on mountain bikes, but just getting out and turning the pedal.
Yeah.
Just getting that cardio, expanding that cardio fitness seems like
so when we're talking about fitness, we talk about macro cycles. So let's say the macro cycle is we got the first Weeby Enduro in the end of March, right? So how do we get ready for that? That might be the macro cycle. And then there's a mesocycle where it's like breaking it up into 4-week chunks. What am I going to do for this 4 weeks? Then what I'm going to do for this 4 weeks, and what I'm going to do for this 4 weeks, so that I'm ready for that event at the end of March. And then there's the microcycle, like what do I do this week? And Josh from Enduro Method, if you get a chance to listen to his podcast, he interviewed me last month. And what we talked about a little bit there was the microcycle of what do you do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so that you're ready to race on Sunday. And for me, it was revelatory in saying like, okay, you can't go hard every day. You know, at 61 years old, I can go hard like one day. So the other days I've got to go and do like the balance drills and the obstacle drills and just easy stuff to work on my bike skills, but not to wear out my body. And then getting into the gym twice a week and then doing the aerobic stuff several times a week. And doing that, then that gets us prepared for that long run, that long range goal we have. And then each month, you know, you'd say, okay, this month I'm going to work on developing power strength. Next month, I'm going to be working on muscular endurance. And then, but through all that time, we're working on develop aerobic capacity because, you know, it's basically an aerobic endurance sport.
Right. And Robbie, it's like, it's hard to rest when you get goals in mind 100%, but that is where we all, I feel like, other than the top pros, we all fall short. Not so much just rest, like boring rest, like you're not doing, but like doing the boring drills.
Mm-hmm.
You have got to do the boring drills. And that's one thing I was working on before I got hurt in Mexico, and actually was feeling really good and actually feeling and seeing some gains in my riding. And again, a huge bummer about the last Aztec race because I was feeling really ready for that race, and then the bike broke. You know, it's like one thing after another, right? Because I mean, I had a great start. I was feeling really good. My practice laps are fast. Because I've been going out in my front yard and just doing figure eights, and that counts as rest, I think, right? I mean,
yeah.
I'm physical rest because I'm not like stressing my body.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sitting there practicing balance, stopping, balancing, doing the tightest figure eight possible, and it's so boring, but it is so good for your riding. So I would say, Robbie, that's one thing we should all work on is, you know, just focus, take a day. And you can do it in your garage. Like you can just sit there on your bike and just try to balance. I mean, Jimmy Lewis, arguably one of the better racers, riders out there, you know, ever. He's in the top 100, I would say. And you know, he's finished a car. He's done everything, you know. And Roger Hurd raced him, beat him, which is awesome. But he has a class. You know, his Jimmy Lewis off-road school is really cool because I think he has almost an entire day where they just sit on the motorcycle and don't do anything, don't move the thing at all, and they just balance. And it's huge. It's absolutely huge to get that stuff down, because then when you're riding, racing, and things happen, your body just reacts. You get the muscle memory to just deal with it without having to think about weight forward, turn, you know, all those things.
And the consequence is very low. You
Right.
fall over and it's like, oh, big deal, I scratched my handlebars.
Right.
It's not like you fall over and you're in the rocks and now you got to body lift or bench press your motorcycle, you know, 275 pounds up onto the path again. Because I do that a fair amount.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah. Jared asked, age limit for the class, can he bring his 10-year-old daughter?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, I would say you could.
Yeah.
And what I'll do for each person in the class too is based on what equipment you have available at home, even if you have no equipment, we'll develop a program so that you can do things in between the class. Because the class is just once a week, and God knows we're not going to get in shape with once a week. But through the program that I can give you, then you can be doing things through the week so that you're ready for the next week and making progress at the same time. Right. Because it's really like an overview of what we need to do, and then there too we can do education on like this is what we need to be doing at other days of the week, and then build on it from there. Right.
And I think that's probably one of the things I'm most excited about, because I have a few things at the house. I've got a couple kettlebells, I've got things to do pull-ups, I've got things to do push-ups, but I'm really excited to work with Don to, you know, see what it looks like, right? See what this functional fitness thing looks like, do some stuff, get some practice, and then come up with a plan that I can do at home. And then the other thing is, obviously, if you're here in town or close, you know, where you could buy a membership at the Flex Rack. I think it's how much is it?
I think it's $49 now.
So
for
$49 a
use.
month.
Yeah.
And that's pretty unlimited use, right?
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
So
it's 24 hours now.
Yeah, 24 hours. It's crazy good deal. It's a top of the line facility.
And we'll shoot some videos from there so they can see what's in there. The people that maybe don't sign up, and maybe before then we'll do some video of that, because it's an amazing place. The facility and the equipment we have available is just amazing.
Right on. Dan North, good to see you, man. It's in Scottsdale, surprise here. It's cold, by the way, here. Just so you know, quick update for conditions report for all of you normal watchers of the thing. It's freaking cold and snowy. So we are looking to ride this weekend, just so you know. Everybody keep an eye out on the Facebooks. I am going to go ride my dirt bike somewhere. I just don't know where. In the, probably like a 100-mile radius is about all I'm willing to do. Online class. Do they do online? They don't do online classes at this one, do they?
No, that's a heck of an idea, though. And let's consider that, because we might be able to. I was just loaning my tracking camera to Morgan, and he'll shoot some film with that to show you what that does. But we could actually record some of this stuff from the class and maybe make that available somehow.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to get some video, use it for our team promotion and all that good stuff. Because, I'm not going to sit there and run the camera the whole time and break down everything. Partially, it's what we do for a living. I mean, what Don does for a living. That's what the Flex Rack, people have to make money in this world. I know a lot of people would like to believe that you don't, but it does require work. But then also, there's more to it, being standing there with Don talking about how to do things. I'm not going to record all that stuff, but we will get some stuff so you guys can see it. And then, the Flex Rack also has just drop-in days, right? You can just buy a day pass.
Right. Yeah. So
if you're in town, to maybe, this summer or whatever, to ride with us, and run through a class with you guys, or Don's, whatever, just show you what we're doing. So that you can then take that home to wherever you are.
Yeah, definitely. You could get a hold of me via that email or on my website, movementmedicine.coach. And we could set up something. So if you're not with Morgan or whatever, come in, I'll set up a workout with you, maybe develop a program for you, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, as I'm aging, getting close to the 50 mark here, fortunately, I've been genetically fortunate enough to be, in relatively good shape. Also, my lifestyle has been active my whole life. Just ask my father. I've never really slowed down from anything. But now that I'm getting older, I'm like, it's definitely quite a bit harder just to make this easy. And so I'm really excited to have some stuff that's very specific, very functional, very, to what I like to do. Because I don't need to get ready to run a marathon. Woody, if you guys, seat time, he's ran that marathon. I've run 2 marathons before. I'm done with that in my life. I can check that box. I hated that. I did it. I'm happy to say, yay, whatever, I'm over it. At almost 50 years old, I want to be really, really good on a motorcycle, because I know, I've seen it, I can be really, really good on a motorcycle into my 80s. I know people personally who do that. And, I guess there's people that run into that, but they're ridiculous. So, I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, I've done triathlons and things like that too. And it's, like Josh was saying from Enduro Method, it's basically, enduro is an endurance sport, and we need to be strong enough, but we don't need to be like bodybuilder strong. Right. We don't need to be power lifter strong. We need to be strong enough, and then continually work on improving that aerobic fitness. And that aerobic fitness can improve throughout a lifetime. I used to do endurance bicycling, and there was guys in their 80s that could ride, several hundred miles a day, but they just never stopped training. They were all through the winter, they rode all through the spring, all through the summer, and they developed that base over years. And that's, I think, what the biggest thing is.
And someone, Jared mentioned yoga mats, all we got. We actually, just before we started the camera, we're talking about working on a program using our dirt bikes as the thing, right? Because it's a big, heavy thing. If you watched, if you saw on Facebook, Garrett's bone stock Sherco, it tips the scales at 265 pounds with no mooses. It's a very heavy motorcycle. But we've all got about a 250-pound weight
right
in our garage, right? We all have one. And They're practicing balance. You don't need any room to practice balance on the thing, other than I guess to the side, so you don't knock something over in your garage. But if you fall down, but picking the thing up, whatever. So we're gonna work on that. In fact, I think that would be a cool YouTube. Just like what to do with it,
because it is specific. Like when I was young and played a lot of soccer, it's like you practically sleep with the soccer ball. Everything you did, you had the soccer ball. You were touching it in so many different ways and so many different methods, and it would be great to have that with the bike too, so that when you use one piece of equipment like that, the more ways you can get familiar with it, the better off you are.
Right, absolutely. And the reality is, as much as we'd like to believe, we are all going to have to pick one up. And the faster, if you're racing, I mean, because again, I'm looking at this as not only do I want to just ride and have fun for the rest of my life, I like racing. I want to race. I want to be competitive. I don't need to be a pro. I will never be a pro level rider. But I want to be competitive in the thing that I've decided to do. And, I'm super stoked to be like focusing on just that. Like, I'm going to ride my bicycle, all that stuff, but I don't want to be, doing things that are not directly helping that, because directly helping that is going to help the rest of my life. Right. Well, this is the rest of my life. That's all I do. I do this and I fly fish. That's about it.
Yeah. And endurance is specific, so if we develop endurance on the assault bike, which you'll use at the gym, or a rower, that's good to have that kind of endurance, but endurance is very specific. So if you want to have endurance on a dirt bike, you better be on a dirt bike as much as possible.
Right.
So as the weather warms up, there's different workouts that we can do that are more like interval training on the dirt bike, short circuits and things like that, to raise your heart rate to a certain level and then maintain that, because it doesn't, like, you've probably known people that could run a marathon but then couldn't sprint worth a dang, or couldn't ride a bicycle, because endurance is very specific. So the dirt bike stuff that we do has to be as specific as possible. So as the spring goes on, we'll keep talking about that.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe do a show about that.
Yeah, we should definitely do, because it's almost a freaking meme now, because I've been with people that are clearly more fit than me. Like, if you look at them, they're like thin, fit, running, whatever. And then we go ride dirt bikes, and I can ride for hours, and they're just suffering. After an hour, they can't even move, and they're fine riders. It's not like they suck. They just like, oh my God, so tired, and they're crashing. And it's like, what are you doing? And it's because that's what I do, right? I ride motorcycles, and I know how to be efficient on them. So I don't use too much energy, and I've got a long way to go. I'm down here, there's way more to go, but, and I think that's the other cool thing about this program we're getting ready to start, is that everybody's on this scale, right? Everybody's on a different scale.
Right.
And Don is going to be working with those people specifically to slowly bring, everybody up on their own thing. So,
right.
And no, Sawyer Cycle Farm, it is not Thursday. Hey, it is early because Don has to work on Thursday, and we wanted him here. So,
yeah.
Oh, here we go. That's a good question. Is the training program different for a 50-year-old to a 20-year-old?
Definitely. There's modifications. So, we'll have certain movements that we do, but, somebody in their 60s or 70s can't do the movements the same way, so we modify those.
Right.
And there's multiple different ways to modify it. It's the same thing at our 6 a.m. functional fitness classes. It's like there's people in there in their 60s, quite a few of them, and there's people in their 20s, and their workouts are just as rugged for each of them, but the 60-year-olds modify things and change things a little bit so that they can do it. Because as much as I'm 61 and I'd like to think that I still have the physical vitality and recovery that I did when I was 30, I definitely don't. It takes me so much longer to recover, and so I have to monitor that, because I want to go at it like a 20-year-old still, but it just doesn't work.
Yeah, it's a problem with those dirt bikers is that up here we don't grow up. Because I wake up and I tell my wife all the time, I'm like 18 years old, but now I got a bank account and I can do all this. And she's like, remember how your leg feels right now. I'm like, oh, that's right. And I have to remind myself. Quick dirt bike question. The 23 EXC foot pegs will not fit on the 24 EXC. No, they do not fit. Foot peg design changed with the new chassis, which it took till 24 for the EXCs to get that chassis. So no, sorry, they don't work. And Robbie, I agree. There is no replacement for seat time, especially on skills. Again, that's where the doing drills in your front yard comes in. I mean, every bit of seat time is good, right? Even if it's at 1 mile an hour, going lock to lock and sitting there trying to balance is all good.
I do that in the driveway. I went to Walmart and got the cones and set them up, and I do that out there. And if I do that the day before I ride, I get into these rock sections, and I get through the rock section. I'm like, wow, I couldn't have done that last week. Somehow something changed between last week and this week. And the only thing that did was that I did the drills in the driveway.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's huge. And I have cones, the cheap ones. I got them at Big Five, the little flat, little bitty ones.
Which are nicer because then if you run over them, they don't get squashed like the cone ones that I have.
And the wind can blow and they don't blow around.
Yeah.
And I take them out to Peach Valley and I'll throw out a figure eight like thing where cause for me, it's hard to in my brain get a figure eight dialed or unless I have something to turn around. Right. And I'll just take them out and throw them out and sit there and then we'll go out and put a left turn in and a right turn in and just practice. And then it's funny. I'll do that and then go ride that day. And I'm an infinitely better rider. I'm like, holy crap! Why am I not doing this more often?
Yeah. Like Rich Larson and everybody says, you get better. You can definitely get better at one thing, and then it expands to all your other techniques too. You work on corners, and you get better on hills and ropes and everything else. So,
on the elliptical as much as I watched right on Sweet Doctor Inspiration, 52-year-old dude Scott. Us young bucks have a lot to look up to and be ready for it. And every time when I go to Mexico, I always going to Mexico to the Baja 1000 is always the big inspiration because I've been down there so many times, and every time there's teams in their 70s. In 2010, there was a team of guys. I knew them, friends of mine. The oldest dude on the team was 81. Dude, he's racing the Baja 1000, 81 years old, and he had a night section. He's like. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Was he going, pro speed? No, but he was actually going pretty damn fast, and he was doing great. So, let's see.
And Cycle Farm about the keto. I played with keto a few years ago when I was doing endurance bicycling. And the thing about keto, of course, is that you're using fats for energy, and they don't respond quickly to energy demands. You'll find that when you're on keto, and you have to climb a hill or do some quick and really requires power, it's really difficult because that's where the carbohydrates come in. And you might find that when you're training or doing something hard, supplementing with some goo or something like that. So when that demand comes, you're ready for it. Because keto is okay if you're like a slow marathon runner and you're just going the same pace all the time and there's no big demands or big fluctuation in your heart rate, it works okay. But when you've got a big demand, like say you're going up a hill and you've got to push or something like that or pick up your bike, it's going to hurt because you just don't have those carbohydrates to rely on.
See Jay Wild. So instead of 20-pound, 30-pound dumbbell, a couple for a minute, 10 or 5-pound dumbbell, instead of 1 hour. I don't know. What does that mean?
I think he means I think the question is intensity versus duration, I think is the question. So you can have a heavier weight and lift it a shorter period of time, or if you only have a 10-pound kettlebell, you could lift it 3 times as long as you do a 30-pound dumbbell. That time under tension is really an important concept, especially for endurance type people. And I follow this guy on YouTube where he talks about he trained movie stars, and if you injured a movie star, it costs $300,000 a day because everything stops on the production. So he has to get these guys and gals in great shape when they're on the set. And he may only get 1 or 2, 3, 4 times a week with them, but he has to make the most of that. So he does things like kettlebells and clubs and things like that where you're moving all the time, but the weight's not super heavy. So then, the joints get to work and the muscles get to work without so much a risk of injury. I think that's the question you're answering.
Yeah, right on. So we're gonna stop this basically right at 8. We got 1 more minute. So 1 more question. You guys fire off. We'll take 1 more question here and make sure I haven't missed anything. Again, I'm gonna type the phone number for the thing if you guys want to sign up. Like I said, and then we're gonna have links on our Facebook post here coming very soon. But if you guys want to sign up and join us, this is the phone number, and just tell them that you want to do the winter enduro fitness thing. I will type the code, the actual code. X. There we go.
What about touching on nutrition and cutting weight, carbs, protein, proper amount of calories? I find when I increase my cardio, I hit a wall and my body starts to store. Do I need more calories? Probably, and then knowing what your macros are, keeping track, writing down what you eat every day can be a huge eye opener, because it takes it from that just instinctual shoving food in the pie hole to actually thinking about it. And then when you look at that at the end of the day and the end of the week, and you can say like, okay, this is what I ate, how much that was necessary and how much it was anxious eating or boredom eating or whatever, and then make adjustments accordingly. And then the next week you could actually look at it and say, okay, put the macros down there. How much of each thing that I eat? And then is that an appropriate amount for what I need to be doing? And that's, again, individual, depending on your weight, your size, your sex, all those things.
And a quick counter shots. This will be the last one. Swim training for riding.
Not like we talked about, it's very specific training. The best thing for dirt bike training endurance is being on a dirt bike, and swimming is probably one of the farthest things from that, unfortunately, because that's what I had to do when I first started, because I had so much neck pain with swimming. But then I eventually moved into weights, and then free weights, and then functional fitness.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to hurt to get your cardio up, and obviously swimming's an incredible cardio workout.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and it's hard to get injured swimming.
Right. Yeah.
That's the good thing too.
Unless you drown and die.
Right.
Nate.
Don't swim
Don't
in the ocean.
die. Oh man. All right, guys. We're going to shut this thing down. We got a shock to bleed for Don here. I got to go get some work done. Richie's actually texting me because he's obviously not watching this, asking if I were at the shop. So, guys, I love you. I hope you had a wonderful time. Don, thank you so very much.
So fun.
Appreciate you coming on. Guys, comment below if you're watching this later or even, right now. Comment if you want to do this again. Maybe we'll work on like some more specific questions. We'll get a Q&A thing going. Actually, you know what? If you're watching this later or after I hit the end button and you want to put it in the actual comments with specific questions, I will record those questions. We'll do a Q&A thing. Like, I mean, this is a Q&A live, but we'll do just a straight up Q&A without you guys, so we can kind of focus specifically on some questions. And we'll give him the questions early to give him a little bit better chance to answer. So, guys, I love you, Punk Rock Club. You know I love you the most. We will see you guys soon.